Well, Tidbit stories. This is something that we're going to start every week on Thursday at 2 p.m. And let me tell you what Wealth Tidbit stories is all about. Um, my name is Araceli, for those who don't know me, and I'm a transition wealth advisor. And you think of what is that exactly, right? So I'm a financial advisor that it's going to help you even more to get more wealth, to retire wealthy. That is really my goal. And so one of the things that I like to do is I like to educate people about what they need to do. Uh, I normally work with single professional women, and that is one of the things that I specialize on. However, this is for everyone. This is universal. So one of the things that I've done is I have put some videos about, how an RSP works, how a TFSA works, and, how you can save for your kids' education through an RESP or maybe a life insurance policy. But what happens, all of these things are products. And products are something that is, you can find all the information on the website and anywhere. Just do a search and you will find lots and lots of information about it. And that's not what this show is about. This show is being put together so you can see how transitions in life really affect finances and what can you do to change that, to interact with your own finances and make something better. I do believe that every single transition in life, it's an opportunity for us to become better and to come out on the other side with more money. So I just have been inspired to put this Facebook Live and talk to you about transitions in life and how you can make a change for yourself. And today I'm going to start with my own story. Next week, I'm going to start bringing people that have remarkable stories that when I hear them, it's like, oh, wow, really? And you think that this is only happening to you, but it's not true. These stories are here to tell you that you're not alone, that somebody is also going through the same thing that you are. So anyway, today, I just want to tell you how I got here. I was born in Mexico and I came to Canada right after university. That was my very first life transition. Oh, I tell you, that was hard. It was super hard to be a new immigrant. And I'm sure, there's lots of immigrants in Canada that they can familiarize with this because when I came here, even though I studied English in Mexico, I just couldn't speak a word. Like people were talking too fast and my brain was trying to translate things from Spanish to English. So by the time I was able to say something, the conversation was way far gone. So it took me about 2 years to be able to start speaking well, or a little better. So the idea was to come in here and learn English, come back to Mexico. I have graduated from mechanical engineering, and there is a lot of companies, the foreign companies in Mexico. I figure, if I am able to speak English better, maybe I can get a better job. But as life had it, I decided to stay. And it has been a remarkable trip, to say the least. So many transitions that I've had since I here, coming as a professional immigrant, really created a lot of issues. I had to get my license to become an engineer. That was really extremely hard because when I was studying for the exams, the technical language was very difficult to translate. And I'm sure some of you guys, professional engineers that just came to the country, you think that this is never going to end, but it does. So I finally got my license. I worked as an engineer in the aerospace industry for over 20 years. And I loved the work. I really loved the work, but things changed in my life on a personal level. One of the things, I got married and then I got divorced. And that really opened my eyes to many, many things because I wasn't prepared financially for that. Um, we ended up selling a house that it was the matrimonial home. And, when I think about that, I wish I had somebody like me telling me, don't sell the house. Find a way to keep the house, because that is a legacy that you can continue on, and it will help you in the future to grow your wealth. But nobody was there to help me. And going through a lot of emotional dilemma and financial, I really felt that I was a failure with my marriage. And then after that, what happened is that my finances are starting to fall apart. And that's when I realized that I wasn't ready, that I didn't have the right products in place to prevent all of these from happening. And, nobody gets up in the morning and say, well, let me plan for, when I get divorced. We really don't do that. But there's certain things that you can put in place to minimize the financial turmoil that we go through when there is a life transition like that. So after that, and being 14 years single after I got divorced and going through a lot of hardship trying to recover from the debt that we had in the marriage, all of these things spiral into, I lost my job, I went to another job, and so on. And one of the things that I noticed is that every single time that I changed jobs, the wait was longer. So any little bit of money that I saved, it carried me over for the next few months until I got a job, and then my savings were depleted. And then I had to go through the next cycle. So I said, there's something wrong with this. I really need to do something. So I started to get my certification. I did all my courses for a certified financial planner. And I realized that I was not set up at all. One of the things, the first thing that I thought is maybe because I'm an immigrant, I don't know what I'm doing. But the fact is that I've seen now that I've been working with so many people and so many Canadians as well, that they also are in the same spot. And it's not our fault, really is not. We really we're not financially educated. And I'm telling you, even with a university degree, we're still not being taught about how to manage our finances and get ahead. That can be minimized really by putting a plan in place. And this is what now I help people do that. And I think I do have a gift to connect with people and to show them how they can do it and explain to them very easily and simple how they can change their lives financially by implementing a single plan. But I'm telling you, I wasn't always like this. My upbringing was, my parents are in a middle income home. And my dad is always been a business owner. He owns a garage, he's a mechanic, and he is a fantastic mechanic. But I did think that he was lacking some of the business skills that are required in order to move a business forward. And with that alone, I saw him struggle constantly. So my idea of becoming an entrepreneur was people struggle, like entrepreneurs struggle. And I said, no, I want to go to university, get a degree, work for a company that will take care of me forever. But those times are changing. And a lot of us still have that mentality that if you work for a large company or for a company, they will take care of you in the future. Even now, the large companies that they used to have a pension for life after you retire, they don't have that anymore. Or they are modifying it in such a way that you are responsible for some of it. So things are really changing. So with that on, I decided that I had to do something to change the course of where I was going. I was going from job to job, depleted my savings every time that I was getting a new job. So what I did is I said, what can I do in order to generate some income? The income that I lost from my husband. We had a two-income family, and all of a sudden, I see myself with one income only. So that's how I decided to become a real estate investor. And I said, what if I buy a property and maybe I rent the basement or the upstairs and my tenant will pay for some of it? So that was a really big endeavor. I had no idea where to start, but I did buy a property. And this property was a single property that was already divided in two apartments. And I ended up changing this configuration and adding another unit in the basement. That took me approximately 2 years. And believe me, was trial and error. I didn't know what I was doing. But in the meantime, I was learning about what to do. And, I went through a little bit of changes. Some contractors didn't end up being good. Some of them, they were better. And some of them I did it myself. I'm pretty handy when it comes down to fixing something. But there's a lot of things that I cannot do. Believe me, I will not do drywall. I did it once. That you need really a skill for that. So when I completed that property, it was the best thing that I've ever done because with the upstairs, it was rented, the downstairs was rented, and I was living in the middle floor. It was fantastic. My entire payments were covered. And then I decided to move to another town so I could be closer to work as I was still working. When that property was fully rented, I was cash flowing quite a bit of money a month. And that is the start of some passive income coming to me. And that was fantastic. It really helped me tremendously. So after that, I said, well, what can I do now to continue to do this? However, things in Ontario, I live in Ontario, Canada, have changed dramatically when it comes down to real estate. And I bought the property in 2014. And in 2016, when I had it fully rented and fully renovated, houses were almost double. So when I did the math about having renters versus what it cost me to support it, it wouldn't cash flow. And for those who are not real estate investors, cash flow really means is what money I have left over after I pay everything. So I decided to go to the US and start buying properties. Oh my goodness, what a ride. I started that in 2016 and I ventured myself all by myself, thinking that I had a property manager that could help me buy and maintain the property. It ended up that he was not a very good property manager, so we ended up parting ways. And I was doing it for a little while by myself. And so driving, it was about 5 hours drive. It was not a bad drive, but I just couldn't do it working full time and doing this on the weekends. So it was really becoming a little bit overwhelming for myself. Well, as the universe has it, always it does have a plan for you. A friend of mine contacted me, and long story short, we ended up creating a company in the US and doing fix and flips. It has been really fantastic. It was 2 years that we did that until last year that COVID happened and the border is closed. But that is kind of my story, and that's what I like to inspire people. And starting next week, I'm going to be bringing some people that they're going to share with you some remarkable stories about what has happened in their lives. This is just my story, right? Of how I transitioned from coming to Canada, from becoming a professional in Canada, from being married, from being divorced, from going through hardships, from losing my job, from transitioning from an employee to an entrepreneur, buying a property, having tenants, all of them. But the common thing that all of these transitions in life have is that they are all touched by money. And some of them are in a good way, but most of them are not in such a good way. So the, uh, the stories that we're going to share here is just to show you that where people are coming from, what kind of transition they went through, and what they did in order to get out of it. Some of them are my friends, some of them are my clients, some of them are my colleagues. And I would love to share with you so you can get inspired that if you think that you're going through some turmoil in your life, somebody else is going through it as well. So with that alone, I will leave you today and I will see you next week with the very first story that I hope it inspires you. Please, if you like this kind of format, share and like it. Follow me on my Facebook page for more information. And just be well and continue to increase your wealth. I will see you next week.